Starting out 7th grade is feeling a little bit overwhelming because we're doing a lot of new things this upcoming school year. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kira. I am a former homeschooler and a homeschooling mom. If you are new to my channel, I'd love if you click subscribe, click a like, and click that bell for notifications. I have so many more videos coming up and I want you to have a chance to see them. Today we are doing an unboxing, which as you can see, I've already unboxed it. I just got this new curriculum yesterday for our language arts and grammar. To be honest, it feels a bit overwhelming because there's a lot to it. For those of you that do not know, I've been using for language pretty much Abeka for the past 3 years with my son. It's worked somewhat well, but for those of you that have come out of Abeka and realize there's another world out there to homeschooling options, it seems like there is a lot of different approaches to language arts and English grammar. My son is an amazing reader, which I'm very blessed to have that. But when it comes to him being able to put things from his mind down on paper or communicate clearly, like in full sentences, it seems like he is still having a hard time with that. And we focused a lot on the parts of speech and correcting errors in a sentence and all that, but it just wasn't working for him. I grew up with Abeka. It worked really well for me, but I'm realizing that not everything that's worked well for me as a homeschooler works well for my son. My son was also in a public charter school the first few years of his life, and I think that when we transitioned to homeschooling, I started to realize how much he wasn't taught. I'm trying to figure out this new curriculum I got. Institute for Excellence in Writing is a completely different perspective. I've looked at some sample videos. I really wanted to do something from a completely different perspective, which is hard for me because I'm used to a traditional style. I would just want to say thank you to a lot of the other homeschool moms out there who have YouTube channels who have actually reviewed and shared their thoughts and opinions on this. I know there's kind of some mixed opinions. However, those who do have sons who have used this, they said that it really took off a lot of the pressure and that their sons started to write really well within a fairly short period of time. And I want, in a world today that we have where there's so much automation, there's so much voice to text, we don't know what the future is going to hold when it comes to communication and what's going to be needed. However, I want my son to look forward to the opportunity of sharing his thoughts and putting them down in a way that can be understood to anyone when he writes. And we've done a lot of reports, we've done oral book reports, we've done just a variety of things, and there's still a lot of the structure hasn't been really taught. But I'm really encouraged with how this seems like it's going to work for us. I think kind of have to get my mind wrapped around it, but I think it'll go really well. I invested in the larger kit because we had not done this before. So I got the Fix It Grammar Student Book Level 3, the Structure and Style for Students Year 1 Level B, and then it has, of course, the teacher books for that. Kind of look at some other stuff in a minute. So we're just going to start out with the Fix It Grammar book first. I'm going to link this whole kit down below. So if you want to look at it, you can. You're going to have to really go online and look at it more for yourself. I did get the online streaming instructional videos included with this because I feel like my son needs someone else to teach him other than me. If I can see it and understand it too and watch it with him and kind of get this different learning perspective, then I feel like I can help him better. This comes in a spiral notebook, which I like. So from what I know about Fix It Grammar, they focus on teaching a child how to proofread, which in today's world, if you're going to be copywriting, if you're going to be a journalist, if you're going to do anything in the writing world, proofreading can be extremely valuable from what I understand. Like, I would love to go into copywriting. Language arts and English was never a strong suit for me. My mom was always really good at the proofreading part. My husband is. I'm not. And as of right now, my son is not showing strength in those areas. He is definitely more of an engineering, mathematical mind, not a let me enjoy writing a story. He's just not like that right now. However, I think if he can enjoy this, as so many others seemingly have done, then maybe it'll change. This is a 30-week breakdown right here. So it goes over all the parts of speech right here: capitalization, punctuation, clauses, homophones and usage, other concepts, stylistic techniques, and vocabulary. Now, I did buy another offshoot vocabulary off of Amazon. Stay tuned for that video. It'll be a homeschool. It'll be listed as a homeschool resource, but this includes some vocabulary in there, which I like. I just wanted extra vocabulary on top of this because of him being a good reader. I feel like he could do a little more on the vocabulary side. And so that's this book right here. And then the structure and style has a 3-ring binder. I'm going to pull this out for a minute. This is the pages for his notebook, and then all these individual pages will go in his binder. They break it down into different stories, and then he is going to go in the different stories and do editing. I'm gonna let you look at this in a minute because there's a lot of breakdown here, but I will look over this in a second. There's just a lot here that I need to look into. We will take a deeper look inside pages from the student manual here in a minute. This is the teacher's manual right here. This is showing you how to get to the downloads online. And then we're going to look at this in a minute too because there's a lot here. But it breaks down the units. This is the Fix-It Grammar teacher's manual. We'll glance at that more in a minute too. So this is kind of interesting. This is basically a thesaurus. It gives you a breakdown of adjectives, adverbs, and like verbs. I think this is going to be really helpful. We'll glance through this in a minute. And then this is just a little pamphlet. They basically break down different things here. And I'll also look at this because it's kind of hard for you to see. And then this is the binder for the structure and style right here. We're going to have to take a glance into that too because I have not opened it yet. Let's take a look at all this. I will try and show you little bits and pieces of each one to kind of give you more of an idea. You'll have to bear with me on this one. Let's take a look inside. Okay, because there is a lot here that I need to go over. Again, I'm not going to go through a lot of it because it's probably just going to be repetitive. Just a lot of those activities. We're just going to get the basics of the main flow of each book. This is the student book for Fix-It Grammar, Robin Hood, student book level 3. So in the beginning, it's telling you what the edit marks are so you know how to correct things that need to be corrected. There's your scope and sequence right here. Here you see it's broken down into weekly lessons, week 1 through 30. And then in the appendices, it's telling you more of the breakdown there. Okay, so this is lesson 1. So it's giving you the definition of noun, article, adjective, pronoun, preposition. It's going to give you examples, capitalization, end marks, indentation. Again, giving you examples, and then it's going to want you to rewrite this here. Here we need to look up what the vocabulary word reigned means. So the market would start out with your articles. So you would put AR over the words that are article, adjectives. So a, and the. So it's saying there's 2 of them. So you would put AR over this one and this one right here, these 2 words. Then you're gonna put N over 4 nouns in here, and you're gonna find 3 prepositional phrases as well. Then we're gonna capitalize and put an end mark. So it's telling you there's 4 words here that need to be capitalized and it needs an end mark, and you're supposed to take this with this here and rewrite it down here. So this is week 1, lesson 2. So this is what you would do on the second day. So it's the same principles you're focusing on here, but you're going to apply it to day 2, which is just this. Doesn't seem like a lot of work, but there is more to do in the structure and style book. Remember, this is only for grammar. They break it up every day being quite small. So this is the first week. Going into the second week, you're learning about some other things. So verb, subject, strong verb. Again, it's giving you these examples here, conjunctions, commas, and contractions. This is, again, part of the lesson, and then you're learning to apply it over here within the whole work week. Week 3, adjective, capitalization, quality adjective, who, which, clause, and comma. All this is going to be used here. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of the grammar part of it. Let's take a look in the teacher's manual and see if that kind of gives you even more of an understanding of the Fix-It Grammar. This is the Fix-It Grammar Teacher's Manual, Level 3. Here it's talking about how to access downloads. Again, it's the same thing here as within the student manual, just to show you the breakdown. Same thing here. So for the lessons, it's basically the same thing. You're able to read along with them in your own book. They have a few extra things here on the sides that you will need to look at. And then they give you the answers for that lesson. So as you can see here, all the marks are made that were required up top here. And then it says what the vocabulary word means. And then it says what needs to be corrected. And then it shows the corrected written copy down here. So as you see, it's the same thing every week. It's just focusing on different parts of the story. This is the story of Robin Hood, so they take you through the reading part of it is that story. What I like about this is you're not just reading all these random sentences and fixing them. You're actually editing a book, right? You're editing what someone gives you. So for those who are really good at writing or interested in language or teaching or copywriting even, this is a good option. In fact, I think this will actually make me better at making corrections on my own content because, you know, like I've said, I'm not the best at language, but I can say that actually going over this as an adult would actually help me understand language probably better than what I did when I was a kid. In the very back, there's a glossary, and it gives you all the different contents and the sections in which you can find them. It gives you more breakdowns, again, specifically if you need to look up something, making it a little easier to find. So that's the parts of speech, goes into punctuation, additional concepts right here, indentation, capitalization, numbers, homophones, and usage, styles and techniques. So this is your adverbs, adjectives, sentence openers. So it's just giving you the depth of basically what you've already learned. So, and just so you know, it says here that the level 4 book is about Mowgli and Shere Khan from the Jungle Book. Okay, so this is the binder for structure and style for students, year 1, level B. I already took out the pages here. I did not get them all situated. So I'm just gonna kind of glance through these. All right, so here's the breakdown on the units. So unit 1 is note making and outlines. Unit 2 is writing from notes. Unit 3 is retelling narrative stories. Unit 4 is summarizing a reference. Unit 5 is writing from pictures. Unit 6, summarizing multiple references. Unit 7, inventive writing. Unit 8, formal essay models. And Unit 9 is formal critique. This is the scope and sequence. It tells literary suggestions here, but it has the subject and structure, so it's giving you the different breakdowns of the different stories. So this is showing you what you need to do with the video. Week 1 is about the blue ringed octopus and carnivorous plants. This is part 1 you're supposed to watch up to 41 minutes, and part 2, and it's giving you the timeline on the video. Your goal is to learn the Unit 1 note making and outline structural model, to write a key word outline, which is KWO for short, to retell the content of a source text using just your outline, and to learn new vocabulary. So it gives vocabulary words right here. It breaks down the day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4 and 5, and this is for your first week. What I'm going to show you basically is all this, all day 1 through 5 for the first week. So this is the source text right here, 2 different ones. And then this is basically your note making. Okay, this is week 2. Again, it's giving you the title, your parts to read in the video, what your goals are for the week, your weekly breakdown. Again, here's your source text. These are the pages where you're going to do what the lesson is. Okay, so I'm not going to keep going through this, but you basically get the breakdown here of the structure and style student manual. Tabs right here where I'm going to break these pages down and put them in here. So it's source text, modules, chart outlines, work in progress, finished compositions, stylistic techniques, banned words, punctuation and usage, and documentation. Okay, so this is the structure and style seminar workbook. So as I was looking through this, it's basically a copy of what we just saw, except this is for me as the teacher. So it's going to be more of what I'm going to follow for him, help him understand more about what the seminar is about. That way I know the flow. So if I need to basically go over what was taught in the lesson, I can answer some of the questions. And I hand out certain pages for him, but I'm seeing like certain samples here that I can hand to him and kind of show him what is required of him in his workbook. So it's giving tips basically on every unit, checklists and things like that that need to be included in part of the example. So basically it's the example, and then I give him the page, he works on it, right? And then there's a checklist to make sure that he has included everything in there. And I think that's good because I know for me, I'm gonna have to really like break down all this and read. It's good that they break it down into grades though, as you can see. So if you don't want them doing certain things, you only have to focus on the grade level you're working in. I like that they give samples. I'm always good about samples. You know, this is like what I'm going to be able to show him, what is required of him in his book, and how I can help him walk through what is the best method for him to take to get his work done. And there's that checklist, which I'm going to find very handy. So here it has the tabs here, the unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it has some things back here about literature, writing about literature right here. It's just giving you a little bit more of an example of what's required for certain things. And then the stylistic techniques here, how to dress up sentences. There's the adverb word list, good and bad adjectives. Here's the appendix. It just basically gives some extra things for me to use to help him understand different activities and a way to help me teach better and understand what I need to do to guide him in the writing process. This is interesting. Talks about converting to pens and not doing erasing. So definitely be interested to read about that. Some extra pages here for teachers. Okay, so this is a structure and style for students, teachers manual, year 1, level B. This is just going to be an exact copy of his book with the corrections. It's giving the definitions here for certain words. It's breaking down part of my preparation here, what I'm going to need for each lesson. They give a lot of content for each lesson, it looks like, which I like. That way I'm not kind of questioning what's going on. Here it talks about organizing the binder and homework, so I kind of know if he doesn't complete something during the day, what I can give to him as extra work for later in the day. Board notes, so here's some things I can write on the board. So yeah, it's pretty much just a lot of that. I think it's just going to take you really looking through it if you're interested in this. There's a lot here, but I will say that they set it up pretty self-explanatory. Like if you just take the time to read and get a grasp on each day, I don't feel like it's maybe as overwhelming as it seems with all the books that they give you and all the pages. I think that they do a really good job helping you to hone in just on that work and explaining it really well. Okay, so lastly, they have these extra inserts right here. This is called Portable Walls, and it's basically a board version of a whole list of words. Again, this all ties into what we just saw, so it helps you in the writing process just to see examples. It gives you all your prepositions, verbs, just words that they want you to really utilize this as an aid to help make writing a little bit easier and more detailed in explanation. And then this is a thesaurus, basically, but it's probably one of the best ones you've ever seen. Here it talks about character traits. So words that describe a character trait. Here's words to describe something else, like appearance, words for movement and senses, and then it has some appendix in the back. So here's the section for character traits. So it's breaking down, basically helping you to determine more about the character that you're reading or writing about, and it gives you examples here. I really like this. I think it's very helpful. These are where those vocabulary words can really come in. So I'm not gonna go through all this, but it kind of gives you an idea. And if you find any additional words, you can always write them down. This is like a tool that you use throughout the whole year. Okay, here is words to describe appearance. So these are adjectives specifically about appearance. This is a breakdown of colors, size, space measurements, time concepts with adverbs, temperature, texture, shape. So these are words for your 5 senses. Here's some additional words right here, prepositions right here. Helps you to understand literary genres right here, breaks it down. Literary devices. I'll be honest, some of these I haven't even ever heard before, so I'm gonna be learning a lot too. All right, and I guess that's it for this book. Well, to be honest, I feel like I have my work cut out for me for this one, at least starting out. I think it's going to be deep enough where we're going to start to really make progress the further we get into it. It's just my brain is having a hard time wrapping around all of it because it's so different from what I've done in the past. But I'm excited about it though. I think that sometimes change is a way to get us out of a rut that we're stuck in. And we don't realize it until we realize that we haven't gotten as far as we wanted to. We haven't made that progress. And I think that this is a way to really kind of get us out of that rut that we've been in. If you've used Fix-It Grammar and Structure and Style before, IEW, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you and hear your experiences. We're doing this for 7th grade, so I do know that if you're doing it in the younger grades and you're starting them out young with these concepts, that it's so much easier. I have no idea what the next few years of high school is going to be, but if we can move forward with this to the best of our ability and make some progress, even just for the next year, and kind of get down some basic concepts and foundational things about writing and grammar a little bit better than we have, I will feel a lot better. I think that's all for today. Let me know what you're interested in seeing here on my channel. So that's all I have for you today. Just make sure that you shine bright until I see you next time.